call. It's filling up. My name's Mike Mazer, Senior Vice President with ACN. Excited to be on the call with everybody this evening. All Rockstar IBO call for August 12th. Make sure that you're in a quiet location. Make sure that you're getting people on this call. This is going to be a very short but very impactful call. So make sure that you're sending out last minute text messages. Make sure that you're getting your IBOs, new IBOs on this call. It's going to be a very short but impactful call done by two legends with our company. A gentleman named Jeff Street. He's a Platinum Regional Vice President, COC member, and Senior Vice President, Mr. Michael Crowder. So I got 9:30. We're going to give it a couple more minutes. Let people, it's still filling up for this all IBO call Monday, August 12th. Guys, excited to be on the call with everybody. We'll give it a couple more minutes. Make sure you mute yourself out as you come on the call. Guys, this call is filling up. Excited to be on the call with everybody. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Rockstar All IBO call for Monday, August 12th, 9:30 p.m. I got 9:31 right now. It's actually 8:30 Dallas time. I'm in Dallas, Texas right now. We're letting this call fill up. It's going to be a very impactful call, a short call, but make sure that you're in a place to take notes. Make sure you're in a place to hear the information, because the two individuals that are going to be speaking on this call, I'm ready to take notes with. First individual is a Platinum Regional Vice President. He's a Circle of Champion member. He's out of the Rhode Island, Connecticut marketplace, and that's Mr. Jeff Street. And we also have Mr. Michael Crowder, a Senior Vice President with the company. Did it in record time, built one of the largest organizations here in North America and also in Australia. He'll be speaking on tonight's call, so make sure you get everybody on this call. It's going to be a short but impactful call. We're going to get started here in about, I got 9:32, probably another 30 seconds. Get some more people on the call. Throw out a last minute text. I'm sending out some last minute text myself. Welcome to the call, everyone. Guys, well, first of all, I'm excited to be on tonight's call. Welcome to the call. We're going to get started here in about 30 seconds. All right, guys, well, let's get the call kicked off. I got 9:33. And first of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's call. My name is Mike Mazer, Senior Vice President with ACN. Guys, just so excited to be on the call with the #1 team in all of ACN in North America, the Rockstar organization. We've been consistently the #1 organization over and over again, and it's due to individuals that are on this line. Individuals that are willing to take time out of their busy schedules and, learn a skill set, learn how to build residual income, learn how to work hard at something to get your life back through residual income. And guys, I'm just fired up, excited. We're a special time in ACN. I'm going on my 17th year at ACN, and boy, I've never been more excited than I am today with all the different things we have going on. I mean, I'm looking at 17 years and I'm this excited. I can't wait for the next 17 years. But the reason we're on the call this evening is to talk about the greatest tool in ACN. And guys, we're getting real close to the Detroit National Convention that's coming up September 13th. And it's so important to take advantage of the greatest tool, because the greatest tool in ACN is the National Convention. Patrick and I over the years have tried different ways to build the business. but one thing always remained constant. I mean, we've done one-on-ones, we've had an ACN office, PBRs is obviously the way we build the business today. That's the system that we use. But things that always remain constant in our whole career in ACN was the national convention, was promoting for the national convention. And, that's the reason I'm on tonight's call, because of the Detroit convention coming up September 13th, 14th, and 15th. And, here's what I found. 17 years of doing ACN, the shortcut to building your business is getting people to the national convention. See, the national convention can do things that you and I can't do. Number one, it can create a huge amount of belief. Can we agree, in this business, the more you believe, the more you go out and do, and that goes for you and everybody in your organization. And it's using the national convention to your advantage to build your business. Now, first of all, here's what I feel. No one is in ACN until you've been to a national convention. That's your real first day in the business. The second thing is bringing multiple legs of business to the national convention. See, when we came to our first national convention, I remember Patrick and I went, and we didn't have the money, and needed something to change. I mean, my background is in the car business. Patrick's background was in merchandising, and we were making a living, and living paycheck to paycheck. And after we came back from our convention, here's what we caught. We caught the vision of ACN. We were taught by the number one reps in the company. The top people in ACN came across the stage Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and showed us exactly step by step by step the marketing plan. How to maximize the marketing plan, how to build your business locally, how to build your business globally. Not only that, it gave us a belief. It gave us a belief that we could do the business. Even though in my life I didn't have a lot of success at all. I mean, heck, I was selling cars, delivering pizza on the weekends. And, when I took a look at ACN, that belief I needed. And after the first convention, we came back and were able to go from 0 to ETL. ETL, moving closer to the regional director position. But here's what we realized is taking people with us was the key. Getting people to go with us. Our second convention, we brought a handful of people, and those handful of people came back with the same belief. They came back with the same understanding of the marketing plan. They came back with the same understanding, caught the same vision we did. Now, it was our second convention, so we learned something completely different. Your second convention is always different than your first because you're going there with a purpose, something that you need to solve. But we came back, and from that point, we were able to hit a regional director within our 6 months of the business. Now, we didn't have a system. We were running around doing meetings everywhere. But because we took people to the convention and they caught the vision of ACN, they got trained like we did, our business exploded. And here's what I find. If you're on this line this evening and you're registered, congratulations. You've made the first step. But here's the way to do it. Take a minimum of 4 legs of business. Now, why do I say 4? If you get 4 people and 4 separate legs and grow to go to the convention right out of the gate, you'll go from where you are to the next position in the company. Now, I know there's some people on this line that say, you know what, Mike, I didn't sign up to be a regional vice president. I signed up to be a senior vice president. Here's what I could tell you, 6 legs of business to the convention. And the great thing is we have some time. We have a couple weeks till the national convention, but you want to get registered yourself. And with that being said, I want to see if our guest speaker is on the line. Mr. Jeff Street, did you make it on the call?
Can you hear me, Mike?
Loud and clear. Well, first of all, guys, I'm going to get myself out of the way and bring up an individual that's just, done amazing things within our company. His background was in the cell phone industry, partnered up with ACN, hit platinum regional vice president. He's a Circle of Champions member, meaning he's at the top position, one of the top percent of all of ACN. And he's going to talk about this topic. So I'd like to bring up platinum regional vice president, COC member, Mr. Jeff Street. Jeff, call's all yours.
Awesome, Mike. Well, just excited to be on the line here tonight. Thank you so much for your leadership, your brother, everything that you guys do for all of us. You're always leading from the front. And congratulations on yet another month being the #1 senior vice presidents in the world in ACN, and just appreciate the example that you set for us. And, guys, it's my honor and privilege to be on the call with everybody tonight. And this is one of the topics, probably the topic that I'm most passionate about. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this topic is because what this has done for me over my 13 and a half years involved in ACN. And just a little bit of background on me, for those of you guys that don't know me, 13 and a half years ago, when I started doing this, I was in the wireless business, like Mike mentioned. For anybody that remembers the Nextel walkie-talkie phones, the Direct Connect, the Chirp Chirp, that's what I did. I had 5 stores. I had a couple dozen employees. I did well for a handful of years, but like so many other industries out there, my industry changed outside of my control. Anybody here ever been involved in something that's changed outside of your control before? And it's not a lot of fun. For me, what happened was Sprint and Nextel merged together. I lost half my income overnight, found myself bartending on the side, catering for a catering company, maxing out credit cards to meet payroll, literally went 6 months straight without taking a paycheck from my own company. And one of my stores gets robbed. And as all these different things are going on in my life, I'm praying for something different, and I get involved in ACN. I get introduced to the business. I see something that just looks absolutely amazing to me. The concept of residual income, a system, no fixed hours of operation, no employees. It was like a dream come true. But the day that I took a look at ACN, the day that I got started, here was, and I'm just going to share with you guys really how bad things were at that point in my life with my other business. The day that I took a look at ACN, I'm 26 years old, small business owner in America, 5 different stores that I own, a couple dozen employees. And as I looked at my ACN application and I put my credit card number on the form, I knew that if they ran my card that night, my card was going to bounce. And here I am working 11 years in the greatest country in the world, in America. And at 26 years old, I don't have $499 disposable on a credit card or a check that would clear. And I remember giving my mentor my application saying, I'm in. How long until I get my ID number? And those are my code words for how long until you charge my card. And he's like, well, we mail it in. Back then, we didn't have a website like today. He's like, we mail it in 5 or 6 days. He goes, I can overnight it for you if you want. I'm like, no, I'm a patient person. I'm okay. And I literally called my credit card company and I asked them to give me an extension on a $50,000 maxed out credit line so I could join ACN. And the person that I spoke to said no to me. And then I asked for a supervisor, and the supervisor said yes. And the next day, my application cleared ACN system, and nobody ever knew what had happened to me. Matter of fact, it wasn't until the day that I went regional vice president that I told Mike and Pat Mazer that if they ran my card the first night, that it would have bounced. Here's why I tell you this. Number one, for you to know a little bit about where I was 13 and a half years ago, but also for you to know that a week later I sat at a training and they talked about a convention that was a couple weeks away in Anaheim, California. Now, I was living in Philadelphia. The convention was in Anaheim. The convention was December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. What's the best time of the year for retail? December. What's the best days of the week for retail? Saturday and Sunday. And here I am. I had just gotten a $50,000 maxed out credit line extended to even join ACN. And the next week I'm at a training and they're talking about going to Anaheim. And I'm thinking to myself, it makes sense. It's logical. If I wanted to be a lawyer, law school is a good idea. If I wanted to be a doctor, medical school is a good idea. So everything about why I should go made a lot of sense to me. But at the same time, I couldn't get it out of my head. If I go, I'm going to have to close down one of my stores for an entire weekend. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I can do it. So I remember my mentor, Patrick Mazer, coming up to me at the end of the training saying, Jeff, I believe in you. Jeff, I want you and I to be on the same page together. I want you to learn what I've learned. I want you to meet the vendors. I want you to meet the owners. I want you to see the top producers. Like, you need to be involved in this environment. And everything that he said made sense to me. But I was like, look, I can't go. He goes, why not? I go, if I go, I'm going to have to close one of my stores for the entire weekend. He goes, okay, I understand that. But just out of curiosity, during the training today, when I asked you to write down your why, out of curiosity, what did you write down? And I looked at my notepad and here's what I had written down: get out of the cell phone business. And as I said that to me, he said, Jeff, you can't let the reason why you're doing something becomes your excuse of why you're never going to make it happen. And he just looked at me and stared at me. I was like, you're right. And so I found a way. So 2 weeks later, I was on an airplane to Anaheim, California for the national convention. Guys, I walked into that arena in ACN. I walked out of that arena with ACN inside of me. It was the greatest transformational weekend that I had had in my life. It was a weekend of transformation. It was a weekend of education, motivation, inspiration, the camaraderie I created with the team. It was just amazing. There was only one regret that I had at the end of the weekend. And here's what that regret was. I went by myself because it took me to the last minute to decide that I was actually going to go. I didn't bring a team with me. But I learned the biggest secret of ACN that weekend. And the secret was that the national convention was the greatest tool that we had in ACN. And what I realized that weekend, if I could just get good at getting people to go to these conventions, people would be like me. People would get out of there ready to explode with this opportunity. So my next convention, instead of going by myself, I brought 21 people with me to Fort Worth, Texas for my second national convention. Now, the next month, I became what's now called regional director in ACN and made $18,000 part-time that month. The next month, I sold my cell phone business and never looked back. The next convention, I brought 70 people with me. And the next convention, I brought 220 people with me. And the next month, I was the #1 rep at my position in the world in the company. And it wasn't because I got good at ACN. It's because I got passionate at getting people to a place where they could become great. And a few months later, I became a regional vice president, 19 months into ACN at 27 years old. But it's because I used the convention as a tool to build my business. Now, I want to share one other story with you guys, because at that point, it was me using the convention to build my business. Then I realized I could teach my leaders how to do the same thing and how they could go from where they were to regional vice president. Now, we have an individual in our team by the name of Tanya Randall. Now, Tanya got involved in ACN March of last year, March of 2018. And June was her first national convention that she got to go to. And we said, Tanya, you got to go. You got to bring people. You got to bring people. And Tanya brought 13 people with her to her first national convention. And she brought people in 4 separate legs, just like Mike talked about. 2 months later, she became a regional director. The fourth quarter of last year, she was the #1 regional director in North America in ACN. And she brought a person to the national convention by the name of Roberta Hosky. And she taught Roberta what I taught her. She said, Roberta, it's not just about going, it's about bringing people with you. And Roberta rented an Airbnb and brought 21 people to her first national convention 2 weeks into ACN. 57 days after she got started, she broke the New England record and hit regional director. And for the first quarter of this year was #1 in North America at her position. And last month was the #2 regional director in North America in the company. And Tanya, 15 months into ACN, has over 450 business partners in her team and over 4,000 customers that pay a bill every month. And she's going regional vice president this year, but she used the convention as a tool to build her business. So that's the greatest thing that I can share with you guys here this evening. It's not about you going, of course you're going, but if you do what I did and you wait till the last minute to make a decision, then you won't be able to bring people from your team. So that's why it's so important, 30 days away from the national convention, it's so important if you haven't made a decision yet to go, you got to make that decision for yourself so you can shift gears. Instead of thinking about, should I go, you got to shift gears to think about how many people can I bring? So hope everybody got some value out of that. I'm telling you, this is the greatest tool that we have in ACN. And Mike, I appreciate you and your brother so much for giving me that extra push 13 and a half years ago to make sure that I went to my first national convention, because this business has absolutely changed my life. Today is my wife and I's 7-year anniversary of the day that we started dating. And we were just talking earlier on and reflecting of how many amazing things have happened in our life because of this opportunity. But it wouldn't have happened, none of it, including me meeting my wife, if you and Patrick hadn't pushed me to go to my first national convention. So thanks for your leadership and everything you do.
Appreciate you, Jeff. And, just using the national convention allowed you to build a global business. You and your wife, happy anniversary. You're platinum regional vice president, Circle of Champions members, and just so excited to have you on the team and just watch you guys develop an organization and go senior vice president this year. And right now, Jeff and Melissa Street, their organization is #1 in the Rockstar organization for pre-registrations to the national convention. He's #5 in all of ACN in North America. So appreciate you and your leadership, and thank you for being on tonight's call. The next person I'd like to bring up is as a senior vice president. He's built a global organization. I just got back from Vietnam where, I got to meet some of his regional vice presidents that he's built over in the Australia marketplace. He's not only building one of the fastest growing organizations, he's not only a senior vice president, but he's focusing in on our greatest service that we've ever launched in ACN, and that's ID theft protection. Timing in a marketplace, just back to the customer on what we can do. So I'd like to waste no more time and bring up Senior Vice President, Mr. Michael Crowder. Michael, can you take the call?
Absolutely, Mike. First of all, thank you so much. It's an honor to be on here, and I'm so excited right now about what's happening in ACN. And for those of you that don't know me, I've been involved with the company almost 10 years. In December of 2009, I went to a home meeting, and I met yours truly, Mr. Michael Mazer, in that home meeting. I sat on the couch and I listened to this presentation. Back then, it was home phone service. And to me, it made sense because residual income makes sense. And I got started that night, came to a training class where they showed me what to do. I got a handful of customers and I asked Mike Mazer, I said, what's the shortcut? At the time I had 4 companies that were struggling. I had 3 kids, 12, 13, and 14, and we were literally melting financially. Our businesses were going out of business as fast as I could. I couldn't stop it. And I asked him, I said, how do I go fast? Actually, what I said was, can I make 6 figures my first year? That's exactly what I said. He said, yes, but you have to do 2 things. Number 1, you got to fill your living room with people. You got to put 30 people in front of me, which I did. He said, you need to bring 20 people to the national convention. And I remember telling him, I don't need the hype. I don't need the rah-rah. He said, you don't understand. You don't know what you don't know. And fast forward, I said, okay, if that's the way it's going to be, it's same as Jeff. It's amazing. It's the same number. I brought 21 people to my first national convention. Guys came back out of that, hit the regional director position in 17 days. In the first year in ACN, we had 1,000 people join our team in our first 12 months because we leveraged the national convention. But I tell you all that because this season right now, 26 years in business, there has never been a better opportunity than you're looking at right this second. And let me tell you, the Detroit International event taking place September 13th, 14th, and 15th will be the most crucial and the biggest events in ACN's history because of what is about to happen. And I just want to take you down a road real quick. ACN started 26 years ago selling long distance. Within 5 years, we were the #1 direct seller of long distance in the world. We're talking about $500 million in revenue on a $15 bill. And that shifted into the energy space. We started a company called Zoom Energy. Within 5 years, it was the fastest growing energy company in North America. We got into the merchant processing space, and within 2 years, we were the #1 company in that space, arguably the most competitive marketplace in the world. Can we agree history repeats itself? Success leaves clues. #1, #1, #1. Here's why I share that with you. We were late to every one of those industries. But right now, we have launched a company called ID Seal. And in my entire business career of over 25 years, I've never seen a moment in time like this. You're looking at the tipping point of ACN. You're looking at ACN before it hits $1 billion in revenue. You're looking at a company that's going to be a $10 billion company because of the service I'm talking about right now. ID Seal is literally going to seal people's identities, their financial, their medical, their criminal, everything protected against all of these breaches that are taking place. How many know last week Capital One got breached? 100 million people. I have 2 Capital One cards. I got breached twice, right? How many would agree if you don't have protection, you're at the will of someone else, whether they take your identity today or they do it 2 years from now. And I'm going to show you something that just happened that to me is the most telling sign of where we are today. I'm going to try to share my screen if it allows me to here. This is the Equifax data breach settlement page. I want everyone to write this down. This is so important. www.equifaxbreachsettlement.com. Equifaxbreachsettlement.com. In the top right corner, if you click this, it says, see if my information was breached. You simply click that link. It's going to bring up and enter your last name. So I'm going to enter my last name of Crowder. It says enter the last 6 digits of your social. I'm going to do that. And watch what happens. When I submit, it says, based on the information you provided, our records indicate your personal information has been impacted. Guys, they literally give me the ability to file a claim. I mean, literally part of a class action lawsuit. And I'm telling you, I had people do this week, and out of every single person I've had check their data, only 4 people were not breached. Guys, I'm telling you, we're talking about social security numbers. We're talking about people's personal data. Here's the scary part. This 150 million people's data has yet to be found. It's out there in the dark web somewhere and hasn't even been seen yet. The reason I share that with you is because you have to be protected. Now, here's the exciting part about that. We get to be at the forefront of what will be a $24 billion industry in 5 years. We're not late, we're early. Every time we launch, we become number one. See, number one in this industry is billions. Number one in this industry is billions today. And yet we haven't even scratched the surface. Only 13% of Americans are even covered. But let me tell you why Detroit's important. Because how big a piece of that pie do you want? I'll tell you, for me personally, it's 100,000 customers. For me personally, we're going to acquire 100,000 customers. How would you like to get residual income on 100,000 customers by impacting 100,000 people and helping them protect their families from people out there that are going to do them harm? See, that's what we have a hold of. We got a 26-year-old startup company on a literally a cutting edge industry, that emerging market that has just started, that everybody wants a piece of, yet we're backed by ACN, who goes number one time in and time out. So let me share with you, it's not your job just to be in Detroit. It's your job to bring as many people as possible. See, it is fear of loss like never before. For me, I can't get enough people there because I know they're going to launch business ID Seal, meaning companies will be able to come to us, protect every employee in that company through payroll deduction, even subsidizing that for the employee, to protect them, to put literally an umbrella of protection upon 1,000 employee companies, 500 employee companies, 10,000 employee companies. Because if the company gets breached, the company's liable. See, we are sitting in the greatest place. And I'm telling you, I've been involved in ACN for 10 years. You can hear in my voice how excited I am because I know that I know. See, I know what I know. Most people don't know what they don't know. I'm telling you, what happens, you heard Jeff say it, is in Detroit, Michigan, your belief in ACN is going to drop 18 inches. It's going to drop from your head to your heart, and you're going to leave this event and you're going to go take a hold of freedom for you and your family. And lastly, I just want to ask you that question. What is that worth to you? See, one thing I've learned is everybody wants to talk about getting rich and all that kind of stuff. That's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is being free. What I want to talk about is residual income covering every bill in our home. What if you woke up tomorrow and you didn't have to have an alarm clock? What if you woke up in residual income? I'm talking about getting rich. I'm talking about freedom. I'm talking about if your bills are $5,000 a month, when you have a $5,000 residual, you can do what you're called to do, not what you have to do. But the road to that success comes through Detroit, Michigan, September 13th, 14th, and 15th. And I can't wait to see each of you there. Mr. Mazur, thanks for having me say something. I'll give it back to you.
And Mike, I am excited based on the information you shared. I know you're on the forefront of this with the owners of ACN, and just so excited about where we are in time. And congratulations to you, your organization, your global organization as a senior vice president. And guys, look, let me just break it down to the simple it's one, get yourself registered tonight. See, here's what I know is procrastination is the thief of opportunity. See, broke Mike would always wait till the last minute, do it half, but when I got and said, you know what, I got to make the decision, here's what happened. I started enrolling other people. See, you just heard from a platinum regional vice president, Circle of Champion member, and he said he got good at one thing, promoting the convention. You just heard from a senior vice president in ACN, and he got good at promoting the convention. And that's all you got to get good, because if you don't know what you don't know, meaning if you don't know how to market this service, if you don't know the size of this industry, if you don't know the language, you're not going to be able to capitalize it, but you got to have people there. See, that's what I find. 4 legs of business, 6 legs of business, 8 legs. See, when we got started, it was 5 legs to go regional vice president. We took 8 legs to the convention. You know why we took 8? Because they said, man, if 2 don't make it, if something happens to 2 legs and I get a 70%, we're still going to be senior vice presidents. And here's what I know. Everybody on this line is on this line for a reason. You know, what's the reason you're doing this? What's your why? You know, because here's what I do know. When you live a life of residual income, as Mr. Crowder said, you get all that time back, the time to do what you're meant to do, not what you have to do. Guys, get back to the person that puts you on the Zoom, get yourself registered, and start lining up your people that you're taking with you. God bless. Take care. And that concludes tonight's Zoom. Everybody make it a great evening and take care. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys. See you guys. See you.